Hey everyone. Today I just wanted to talk about the advantages of gaming. I think lots of times people look at gaming in a negative way for the most part. You know, it's sometimes frowned upon and things like that. Which I get. I mean, if you're gaming in a way that's kind of destroying other aspects of your life, it's probably not a great thing at all, you know? But I think this day and age, gaming could be beneficial. And and not just D2R. I played D2R specifically and D2 LOD. Those were the only games I've ever really played. I've tampered with other games and like retro console games. I have some interest in that, but the only game that ever sucked me in was D2. So I don't care what game you're playing. I'm sure a lot of you are playing. What's that game? League of Legends, World of Warcraft, D4, whatever it may be. We're all doing the same thing, just a different game. Just different skins, whatever. So let's make that clear. And we live in a modern era this day and age. It's almost I don't know 2026 before we know it. And life isn't what it once used to be. We're not out in the fields anymore. For a lot of us, we don't do very strenuous jobs. Some of us do, some of us don't. But, life is easier. People are complacent. And, you know, I think, I think having a game to enjoy, use the game to connect to people, in the game I play D2, it's 99.99% men probably over the age 35 plus. Are there women that play the game? Maybe like two. There's probably two chicks playing the game, and they're all streamers looking to get some content or some views or whatever. They don't play this game. So if you're playing D2R, you need to accept the fact that it's a sausage party. And there's nothing wrong with that because I feel like the spaces for men aren't as common anymore. I mean, my social circle is basically non-existent. And there's nobody to blame but myself because I know there's many people out there with large social circles, I'm sure. But whatever, when I play this game and especially for this 22 night event, it's been large groups of men. Many of them are talkative. We're sitting in these bell runs for hours at a time trying to get to 99. And there's some good dudes in these games. So I do my best to connect with them. It's a place for me to do that because if I'm at the gym, I really don't talk to nobody. There's one dude at my gym that he's a great guy, and he saw something in me, and like he tries to connect with me and wants to hang out and all this stuff once in a while. But I like to stay home, and you know, the older I get, the more I'm okay with that. When I was younger, if I was home on a Friday night gaming or a Saturday night gaming, sometimes I was fine. Sometimes I had some like FOMO. Now I don't really get that. And what I used to do to fill that void of FOMO was I probably used to date a lot. Once I was done working and taking care of my stuff, I'd probably be on dating apps or whatever and try to get a date for the weekend. And sometimes it worked out, sometimes it didn't. There was we all know how dating is these days, this day and age. And I also think that let me see how I can explain this. I think gaming will give men leverage in the dating market, and not in that way you think. So, you know, the best way to put it is if you're an average dude and you're an average chick, that average chick is getting 10 times the attention that average dude is getting. She's getting all kinds of orbiters, and there's all kinds of orbiters and people surrounding her and things like that. So, but when you're an average dude, you'd be lucky. You'd be lucky to have a fraction of that attention. So you need to invest your energy elsewhere for the most part. Look for the women who are chasing you. And one place you invested it is in your life, your goals, your career, your business, whatever it may be. Um, that's important. So, we're not working 24/7. So another place to do it is in games, you know, and you don't want to overinvest your time in games. It's okay to have moments where you're more into it, but it's eventually got to like fade in and out of your life. That's how gaming's been for me. Like sometimes it's up here, sometimes it's down here. And and that's cool. And that's where I'm at now. I'm in a position where, I had to walk away from somebody, and I have this game. I got this 22 nights of rewarded EXP, and man, it couldn't have came at a better time because I'm looking forward to it, looking forward to going home and doing this. But at the same time now, so I think some guys can relate to this. I think there's a lot of married guys with kids and things like that. And maybe they have a different type of purpose, whatever. But at the same time, like I was just at the beach over there, and as I was leaving, I seen this guy walking really fast, and his like wife was following from the behind, and she was just nagging him to death. And I could just see he was annoyed, and that's why he was walking ahead of her because like he just didn't want to hear it. And she was just like bickering, like this and that, like let's do this. I'm not happy, this and that. And some ways it's nice to not always have to deal with that because whenever you're with, in my experiences, share in the comments below if I'm wrong, if I'm off. Every time you're with a woman, it's just a matter of time before, the barking orders or whatever, it comes out. You can maintain frame and do everything perfect for only so long until you're getting dragged to do this or that. And, I saw that in him and I felt relief from that today because I'm like, oh God, I just want to chill, man. I don't want to deal with any of that. And in our games, give us that. Give us a reason to go home, chill, avoid this stuff. It takes us away from the bars. We're not out drinking, getting DUIs, starting shit, whatever. So some advantages. Also, just a reminder here. I've had a few guys reach out to me, so I want to stress this point in the last minute of this video, especially for the holidays and this major event this major D2 event. I know it's fun. I know most of us are up all night, grinding away in bell runs. I'm talking to y'all in there, so I know you're doing it. Some of you have subscribed to me. Thank you. Um, but take care of yourselves, man. Balance, whether it's balancing your health with this game, your job, you got kids, family, whatever. Make sure you're not you're not slacking on in the gym, doing your cardio, eating well, things like that. Most of us, from what I see, probably the guys subscribed to me are 35 plus. It's still easy to stay in shape, but it doesn't get easier. I can say that much. Year after year, it won't get any easier. Nobody's going to do it for you, man. And, you know, we occupy ourselves with fitness, gaming, whatever you got, and at the end of the day, man, sometimes it feels like, I don't even exist. I go to work, I play my game, I got to run some errands now, so I can go home, play my game, and then, I got to work all week. No, we exist to work and things like that. And while you're doing it, you might as well be the best version of yourself because, you know, like I said, like I had the strength to walk away from this girl. A lot of it had to do with, being fit. If I didn't have my health in order and my fitness in order, maybe I would have felt a little bit more dependent on the relationship, not able to walk away. If I would have let the, games get in the way of my entire life, maybe I wouldn't have, I had years when I was deeply chasing my career and things like that. You got to balance it. I think you all know that. I know that. It's just a healthy reminder for you and me so we stay on track. And yeah, thanks from the support I'm getting. There's been a lot of cool guys reaching out to me, helping me out here and there. Yeah, so see me any comments down below if you have any thoughts on this topic of gaming and just balancing it in your life and things like that. All right, thanks. Bye.